So yay, mate!
Woo! I try anyway. Woo! As you can see, I've spent a lot more time in front of the screen than on my practicing this. But I love bringing this in because it actually signifies a few things. Because the fascinating thing about this, I have no slides on mindset and belief. But if it hadn't been for the fact that I've seen someone else doing this, I would never have believed it was possible. Because actually, I can defy anybody in the room. You cannot just get on this and go it. It's just not possible. And I'm looking at you right now. You're getting the eye contact here. But you could try afterwards, absolutely. But it's quite fascinating, actually, because it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And when you try it and you sit on it, you suddenly realize the pedals don't just go forward or backwards. They go every friggin' direction. Your body goes every direction with it, and your mind has got to be fast enough to counterbalance. And it doesn't make sense at all, and yet someone did it so that I could see that, and therefore my belief was that's possible. So that's why I love bringing it. Not that I'm any good on it, as you could see, but I can't actually stop, and I'm not still on it now as I'm talking to you. I have to grab a wall to turn around and things because I haven't put enough time into mastering it, and that's the next thing, isn't it? One of my beliefs is that it took us all approximately 2 years to learn to walk and approximately 2 years to learn to talk, to master it. And if you want to master a different language, it would take you, let's say, approximately 2 years to become a master at it. And that's what I think. I haven't put 2 years of effort into this. But I have, unfortunately, put a lot more than 2 years of staring at a screen. And I have actually spoken around the world on the internet marketing platform. And I did host the first internet summit in Scotland. So thank you for that. And one of the things that fascinated me from watching the other speakers was that most of them were trying to sell you on, you can do this too. Just do what I'm doing. And I tend to have the exact opposite mantra, if you like. Don't do what I've done. Because it's a lonely, lonely world staring at a screen. And I don't recommend it to anyone. Seriously. And funnily enough, I could put my shoes back on now. I took my shoes off because it's even slidier on the pedals. And I thought, I'm going to do myself a damage here. But yeah, I was talking to John earlier, and he was talking about being an expert. I said, actually, I'd never even call myself an expert at all, because I think it's inevitable that someone knows something that I don't know. But yeah, I think I've probably put more hours into staring at a screen than most people here. And I do handle various property deals and so on as well, but my income, because that is all my mum's name, so my income is 100% on the internet. And I don't know what you guys might be interested in the internet, so I've put a few different things together, and you can use your imagination as to how it might fit into your business. Okay, so I'm not trying to sell you anything. There is no course at the end. And I'm not discounting. I'm not saying it's worth 40,000 and I'm going to bring it all the way down. So I'm giving you a little bit of refreshment here, a little bit of warning. Let's put my clicker at the back of the room here. I like gadgets, so this is a little bit different type of slideshow presentation. I pulled this off just a couple of days ago. Last week was Google's 19th birthday. And I actually generated my first income online 2 years before Google started. So I've always been interested in the search engines, if you like, because there wasn't just Google at that time, and what they're looking for. And to my mind, it's not difficult. It's logic. And if we can give them what they're looking for, we can get to the top of the search engines, right? It's not difficult, but it can be very time-consuming. And so, I mean, I was talking to John about this yesterday, and I lied because I said I've got 6 people. I worked out, actually, I've got 12 people working for me just now. And 6 of them are actually off on holiday this weekend because there's some kind of Indian festival this weekend. And I actually went to Google to check it, and I was like, oh, right, it is. It's not just another frigging excuse. So instead of me getting upset with them, I just sent them a nice message saying, oh, have a great time, I look forward to catching up with you on Tuesday. So anyway, my business card that I have for this business, because I am a bit of an entrepreneur as well, so I do like to set up businesses and so on. And I have many, many websites. And this business card, on the actual business card, I thought I'd better just check it's true, because it actually says first page ranking experts on the business card. So I went over just to check if I am still there. I just took a screenshot on Thursday, above 9.5 million, that one says. And all these are adverts. And these are all me, further down. And I love actually clicking on these adverts just to say, why, if you're selling search engine optimization, why are you paying for ads? It means you're pretty rubbish at it. And I love clicking and checking out their website just to see how rubbish they are, because they usually are. And so I'll teach you a little bit of that stuff. And this is exactly the same phrase, but I just clicked on the images just to see, and all of that is mine. All of the images. So that's something that most business owners miss. And you guys, if you're dealing in properties, you've probably got photos of your kitchens or the grounds or the bathrooms or whatever. You can actually, your punters, if you like, your ideal clients, will probably not just be searching Google, they'll be searching for images. And when you know what I know, the SEO of images is actually really quite easy, and it's what majority of websites miss. So, as you can see, there's not one single image here that's not mine. Which is quite fascinating, isn't it? And I actually just clicked on videos as well. I just did this on Thursday, by the way, because I don't try and keep it ranked or anything, but that's all me as well, on videos. This one was quite interesting because it was the first time I'd ever tried it. I thought I'll try and do something a little bit different. I was speaking in Glasgow, and I thought I'm going to randomly choose one person from the audience in front of all these entrepreneurs, business owners, and put them on the first page of Google live whilst I'm talking. So if you want to check me out, you can actually watch this. I actually put one person from the audience live on the first page of Google in front of the audience, which is, it took me almost an hour to do it all, but yeah, did it. So, well, there we go. That was the phrase as well. I mean, as you can see, there's 13 million results for that. And all the images for that phrase. And I just put this one up as well because I thought, I've done this. I can't remember what my fastest time was, so I just pulled this out on Thursday. My fastest time to get on the first page of Google was 22 seconds. I can't do that every time, unfortunately, but it just proves that it can be done. So if you're thinking about your own website stuff, what I've just said here is nobody searches for fluffy language, right? Pretty Pink Bicycle is just the example I've given here, but in eBay's case, you've got 65 characters as your title. So start thinking, how can I summarize with the keywords that people are likely to search for, right? What I haven't put a slide up of, but I'm just remembered as I'm talking, is that we are all now experienced searchers, right? We're all on our smartphones, etc. now, and we know we don't just type one word in. You know, if you type the word golf in, you're never going to get to the top of the searches for golf, and so therefore, we don't even search for the one word golf, because we know, fine, that's just not going to give me what I'm looking for. So when we're searching as experienced searchers, we will type in 5 or 6 words even, yeah? And that's, in the jargon in the SEO world, is called long tail, right? So start thinking of that for your own stuff as well. If this is relevant to you, it might not be relevant to everyone in the room, but start thinking of your own stuff. For example, I've got a client in Edinburgh. She has 10 properties in Edinburgh, and when I looked at her target market is what John was talking about, serviced accommodations. And she's mostly tourists, right? So people come for the weekend, etc. Obviously during the week and so on. And Edinburgh's constantly buzzing, so it's a great place for her. And yeah, she's got a great business, actually, great business. And when I did some research for her and what people might be searching for, without going into any depth at all, I came up with 1,400 different phrases that we can use. So what I did was I created, we haven't kicked it all in yet because we're just having that discussion this week, but I've created already in the background 500 different videos for her that I can SEO them all with all those different keyword phrases, right? So the chances are she's going to be at the top for most of the keywords that people are going to be searching for. And you're in a very, very competitive world, you guys, all of you. Because if you think about how many solicitors and estate agents and privateers that are trying to get the attention online of their ideal clients, the key words that you might be thinking of are also what these guys are thinking of, right? So don't just think room for rent Doncaster, right, as an example. Start thinking what might they also be thinking about. And you can also, what I often recommend is don't just think about yourself. Do some research. Ask your client, what would you have searched for, by the way? That's the best research. Ask them rather than you trying to come up with all the answers. So I went to Property Leverage website. He's not even paying attention, but he will now. He will now, because I did a screenshot on Thursday. Now, you guys have all got your own websites, yes? Yes, okay. So I'm in the right room. What I love to do, and I do this 99.99% of the time I do this, I find the same answer. In that, website designers are great at building a pretty website, but they actually know very little. I won't say boggle. They know very little, really, about SEO, although they usually sell these services as well. And you can check this on their website. Right? The next time an SEO guy comes to you or a website designer comes to you, check what I'm just about to show you and see how good they are, what they know, all right? Because what you can do, and this is the one that I love to do first, is the logo. So if you just right-click on the logo and then search for Save As, just scroll down a bit to Save As and see what they've called it, right? And the chances are, guess what it would be called? It's called logo, right? No one's going to search for logo when they're searching for your business. No one's going to type that into Google. But the website designers, majority, not all, get that wrong. And it's wrong in yours, by the way. That's why I did this, right? When Property Leverage guys approached me, it was Kane, he found me on Facebook. We communicated on Facebook. He paid me the same day, and I put their Facebook fan page live that day, right? Because I like to work fast. And this was already in the process by someone else, so I didn't deal with this website, but it was live the next day. So, you know, I was right there at the very beginning of Property Leverage online exposure as well, which is nice, and which is probably why I'm here today, I guess. So check logo, okay, and check on your own websites, and you can do something about that. Because, again, if I just scroll down on the same website, it's there, it's again, and it's also called logo. I just checked, right? The reason I've put, oh, it's a really bad screenshot. The reason I pulled this one out is here is the email address. And I just hovered over it, and I instantly realized it's hyperlinkable. So the reason I've pulled this screenshot up for you guys, and you want to deal with this, by the way, is because this is going to Helen, I guess. Hello at right. Hello at propertyleverage.co.uk is hyperlinkable. So what's happening, if you think about its logic, Google is a piece of software. It's not a person. It's a software, and that software is scrolling through all those websites, looking for external links and where they're pointing to. So if you can get more websites pointing to your website, you get a big tick, right? You're nodding because you know that. It makes sense, right? So the more external links pointing to your website, the better for you. And that same software that scrolls through it all can pull out email addresses. And it's not just the search engines that have access to this. So the scammers and the spammers buy these email addresses by the millions. I can buy 400 million email addresses today if I wanted to. Not expensive, less than $100. And I can just go, yeah, there you go. So if you've got a hyperlinkable email address, just make it unhyperlinkable. And then people actually have to physically type out your email address or have a contact form, which you have as well. Great. Just take off the hyperlinkable part because it makes sense now to tell you, right? And it won't stop the ones that have already got your email address, the spammers, unfortunately, depending on how long you've had it up live, but it will stop you getting more and more of it. All right?
That applies to personal email addresses as well again.
Oh, any email address that's hyperlinkable, yeah, definitely. I mean, some business sites have loads. They have all their management team and all sorts like that.
Is that identity theft on our own, so it's important to check that one.
Right. Yeah. I'm not getting into security and or even reputation protection here, but you're right. There's loads of different things that we can look at. I mean, I'm not getting too deep into SEO here, but I didn't do a slide for this. But for example, what would you think you would rather have? Quality backlinks or quantity backlinks? Quality. So the fascinating thing about that is you're right, and quantity also works. Because I haven't got a screenshot for this because I'm just thinking about it, but I've done many presentations like this. If you go and check yourself online and search for the words click here, guess who comes up? It's just a guess, isn't it? They're not always at the very top now, but they used to always be at the very, very top, is adobe.com. So sometimes they're second. Adobe.com, right, for click here. So I searched the adobe.com website. Guess how many times it's in their website? Not once. Exactly. So how come Adobe, exactly, backlinks. And it's not necessarily quality now, it's quantity. Because people are saying for your free PDF reader, click here, which points them off to adobe.com, right? So I don't want to go too deep into SEO and so on, because that's a whole different lesson for you. But I'm just giving you the generics here. But again, as was mentioned earlier, if you've got any questions, just stop me. If it is personal even, I'll cover it. I'm still on property leverage, by the way. If you also on your laptop go Control U, you can see the source code of the web page, right? And on this particular one, instantly in green, I can see it's optimized with Yoast SEO plugin, right? Which tells me two things. The Yoast SEO plugin is only for WordPress, and I love WordPress. I love Yoast, actually, it's great. So I know instantly now it's got a WordPress website, right? I also know that most people do not know, 99.9% of people do not know, that Yoast has advanced features. And your guys missed it, as usual, in my experience. In fact, I've not yet come across anybody that has used the advanced features. So in this example, nowhere in your source code does it even have the words keywords, right, for example. And there are arguments that someone could come back with on that, but my counter argument is, why the frick not? Right? Just do it, it's available for you, so use it. The other thing that I would highlight here is, and I deliberately haven't made a fool of you on this at all, the WordPress website, if you guys are using WordPress, I love WordPress personally, but what I instantly check on that is that I now know he's using WordPress. I can go straight up there and see if he's got any security on it, right? And I'm not telling you any more than that, but a hacker can easily get into this, okay? So in terms of security, he's got nothing really of value in the website, but it can be a real pain in the ass when a hacker gets in. And I've experienced that like 30 times now. And it could be months and thousands of pounds to pay someone else to clear it all up. And it's not a pleasant experience. So it's a bit like, I don't know, putting a burglar alarm or paying for car insurance, let's say, for the sake of argument. You hope it's never going to happen, but it's worth paying for in the first place. Yeah? Yes, sir.
Someone want to hack you?
God knows, man. I had this conversation just 2 days ago. Someone stole my dog when he was 2 years old from the professional kennels. I did get him back a week later. But it's just like, why would anybody? You'll never suss the mentality of someone that's got that mentality. Don't even try to work out why would they do it. There are just crazy people out there that love to prove that they can. And it's a real pain in the backside when they do. It's not a person, by the way. It's a software. This whole malware stuff, it's a real pain in the backside. So this is just a screenshot of the fan page, because actually, as I said, Kane paid me. We put it live same day, and within 2 weeks we had 850 likes, which I was delighted with. And the post that we tagged at the time, that we pinned to the top, managed to get 151,000 views within 2 weeks, which is pretty cool. I won't tell you about week 3, that was good, even better. So from today, start thinking about if you are using, just a wee show of hands, is anyone using social media for exposure just now? Everybody, right, everybody is, okay. So Facebook is the biggest just now, right? So I'm talking predominantly Facebook, because I love what is now available to help you. But of course, all the other social medias I don't ignore them either. It's a shame Lisa's not here today, actually, because she's got 450,000 tweets she's done in the last 8 years. I'm just like, what? Crazy. Anyway, so what Facebook are looking for now is interaction. All right? They don't just want thumbs up on your posts. They want to reward you if you can get people to respond and interact with your posts. So if, for example, you could get 10 responses to your post within an hour, you'll suddenly begin exposed to a lot more of your fans, right? Right now, you know that when you put a post on your fan page, it's not even reaching 4 or 5% of your fans, which is very frustrating as a fan page owner. Very frustrating. George has been through that as well. He's got a decent number there. You put a post on, and people are just not seeing it. Really frustrating. And the reason for that is because that's one of Facebook's monetization strategies. So they make money by charging you to boost your post. But there are ways that you can do it without paying Facebook, right? So I've just given you some ideas here. There's no right or wrong. But for example, if you put up a humorous post, Facebook, if you get responses, then Facebook will reward you for that. So what you're looking for is, how can I get responses? So I've just put some ideas here for you. You can put a cute picture, controversy, for example. If you just say, guess what Trump's made the effect of, Brexit's made the effect of, whatever it might be, you're going to get responses, right? So questions is another good one. Have you ever heard a question you didn't answer? At least in your head you did, didn't you? Helen even put her hand up there, didn't you? I'm doing it again, aren't I? It can be quite annoying, can't it? It's really quite easy, isn't it? But whether we like it or not, we answer every question we hear, don't we? You just did it again, didn't you? I actually, when I first learned that tactic, I decided to play a game with myself. I was on a flight from London to Edinburgh, and I thought, whoever's sitting next to me, I'm only going to ask questions. And it was a guy I'd never met before. And when we came off the plane, it's only a 45-minute flight or whatever, but it's bloody hard work, this, thinking, what can I answer his question and convert it into a question. It's actually, you've got to think quite hard on it. So I was answering, statistically, this is the answer to his question, and then somehow going, and would that make sense to you? Or something like that, right? And when I got off the plane, he was shaking my hand so vigorously. He's like, you're the most interesting guy I've ever met in my life. And I cracked up as well, because I'm like, he knows nothing about me. All I did was ask about him. So I'm the most interesting because I just asked about him, which is quite fascinating, isn't it? So anyway, live streaming is the big thing that Facebook are using right now. And right now, it may not last forever, but use it right now if you're into it. That if you live stream from your fan page now, for example, which is now possible, it wasn't possible up until 2017, without specialized software, which I had invested in. But now you just press one button and you can live stream from your fan page as well. The advantage of doing that is that for 100% of the time that you're live streaming, Facebook in the newsfeed tells all of your fans. For 100% of the time that you're live, for the whole duration, right? So that is really that's the best way of getting a post seen. If you get your timing right, if you're live streaming when most of your fans are likely to be on Facebook, then they get notified, right? Whereas if you just put, like this video, for example, record it, put it up, it's just another post, okay? So again, I've said in brackets here, remember, you want interaction. So if you start asking people questions, get them to type the questions, you start to get interaction. Make sense? This one caught my attention when I first discovered this. BuzzFeed have actually got at least a dozen different Facebook fan pages with millions of followers. And there was just one image. It was an image of 4 pieces of food. What might you like for breakfast? And it had the thumbs up on one, it had the heart on another one, sad face on another one, whatever, you know, you've got 6 icons to choose from, emoticons. They had chosen 4. They had more than 4 million views. And it wasn't even a day. It hadn't been up for a day yet. And that blew me away. I actually took a screenshot of that. I just typed this in at the last minute because I'm not giving that type of presentation just now, but I've done it on another presentation. Facebook actually tells you what's trending every day on your PC. And if you click see more, you could see the top 10 of what's trending. So if you're stuck for ideas, what could I post about? You just need to think, is it possible I could use one of those titles and somehow covertly put it into a post that might not be directly related, but can I think of a way to relate it to my business to get responses? Does that make sense, guys? Okay, so I put this one up. I bought this guy's package back in December last year. And at the time, he had 420,000 fans. I took this screenshot actually in May, and he had 555. I just checked on Thursday, and he was at 595,000. And I guess if you guys check today, he'll be over 600,000 fans, which is pretty impressive, isn't it? Yeah. The fascinating thing is, he does not anymore pay for followers. He did at the beginning. He doesn't anymore because it's reached that snowball effect, if you like, you know. But go and check it out if you're interested in how can we get fans and interaction, right? So I thought it was short for destination, but actually I discovered later it's actually an area of Florida called Destin. I didn't know that. So his strategy, and you'll see it if you go onto his fan page, is really quite basic, and he's missing a couple of key elements, I think. But nevertheless, without even the software that I've got, he's making 40 grand a month from this. How does that sound, guys? No property involved, by the way. No estate agents involved, no tenants, no builders. But his strategy, interestingly enough, is he has, would you like to know what he does?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you might. He has once a month competition. Really simple, isn't it, if you think about it? And his competition is only a 3-day holiday. And actually, I mean, I bought his package in December, and he said in the package that he's paying approximately $600 for that holiday. Now, yeah, you laugh because it's such a small amount, which was his point. But my thought process is, yeah, I think you're missing a point here as well, because surely with that sort of fan base, any 5-star resort would gift you the accommodation free. You don't need to spend $600. And that's my thoughts. Anyway, so he's missing a few things, and that was just one of them. But nevertheless, his system is really quite simple because he's making $4,000 a month just on the Google ads, just from people going over to check. Exactly, you're shaking your head. But, you know, wouldn't you have that? Thank you very much. What is he doing for it? Nothing. He's not trying to sell anybody anything.
How do you make the money? I don't understand.
So, what he's doing is he sends people over to a really, really simple survey, if you like. It only asks like 4 questions, I think. And it's like anybody can answer. It's not difficult at all. But in that, he's got the Google ads, right? So he's not really trying to do anything except bore people, I guess, and make $4,000 from that. Thanks very much. But then what he's now got is he's got opt-ins. He focuses on opt-ins and email addresses and so on, and follows up with various affiliate offers because obviously with this sort of fan base, anybody is going to be happy to give you a decent commission on what you might be promoting. So for the sake of argument, if he found a business that was selling suntan lotions, or a business that was into the target market was women 47 to 55 because it's luxury handbags, it doesn't really matter. He could put a post out there and an email and so on and get in front of the right people. And those people the sellers are obviously quite delighted to pay him. And there's a number of ways of making money on that. There's a number of different strategies. For example, you could just simply charge for advertising. Lots of people try that. And you guys would probably quite happily pay someone else to advertise to their client bank. So that works. Another one is just to do simple affiliate offers. And you don't even need to know who the person is that's selling it. You don't even need to have the conversation. Because almost any business will happily, and you guys are business owners as well, you'll happily pay commission to someone else to find the sale for you. So, you know, it makes sense. Okay, I'll move on. Again, there's lots of things that I get really excited about because Facebook's actually moving forward in so many different ways. And again, I don't know if this is relevant to you guys or not, but I just pulled it up because if you scroll down your mobile app now, you'll find that Nearby Places is part of it, as well as Nearby Friends and so on. And it is actually a directory, and it's free. So if you have a business that this is relevant to you, you can actually put your details on there as well. And most businesses in the UK are missing that because it's not really affected the UK yet. This is another one I just pulled out. Eric is a good friend of mine. Actually, I gave him his first ever speaking gig 18 years ago. So it was his first chance. In fact, it's a shame Richard's not here because I gave him his first ever speaking gig as well. And I now manage Eric's fan pages, and he's got 2 fan pages, well, 2 main fan pages. He has more than that. But one of them, this one here, he decided that he was going to run a webinar on the Monday. And so on the Saturday afternoon, I set up the system, my back-end system, on his Facebook fan page. And that was our first chat. I didn't get a copy of the second chat, but he reckoned that I had added another 400 plus people to his webinar opt-in over and above what he was doing. So I just pulled that out because I was like, oh, you know, it's good. It's come from him. It's great. I won't tell you what he's selling or how much, but let's just say his starting price is £1,000, right? And he reckoned from the 400 odd opt-ins, he got at least another 85 sales. And again, shaking your head. And he now does it every month. It's pretty cool, isn't it? So I'm not even going to go into funnels and things today, actually, guys. I'll keep it simple for you. Yeah, I've just put here, it happens in the movie, but it's not quite the case. You guys are in property, so you're building it as a different concept of what I was thinking about here. But in the online world, well, it's true anywhere, no matter what your business is. If you're the best hairdresser in the world or the best fish and chip shop in the world, and nobody knows where you are, you're just in a big black hole somewhere. And in the online world, that's even more obvious. So, you know, you've got to do all sorts of things to be seen. and this is just one of the ideas that now works, because all this is an image that you could pull from Google Images with a play button on it, and you could put it on top of an image. And anybody clicks on that, you can make it hyperlinkable to anywhere, so it can go to your website or wherever. So, because people love videos now. Statistics are just phenomenal. I'm not even boring you to tears with all the different stats. But apparently on YouTube, I'll step out the way, you can see the camera coming out. On YouTube, there is more than 24 hours of video being uploaded every, is it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. It's crazy. I mean, how can you even watch that? We can't all watch it, it's amazing. But the other fascinating thing about that is, how can they all get on the first page of Google? Well, they can't. But most of them don't, because they don't know what I know, which is not difficult. As I said to you, it's just understanding how it works. So if you're using email, for example, the statistics there, click-through rates, just blew me away. That's why I took a little screenshot for you. I'm just like, wow, that's quite amazing. You get more people clicking just by putting the word video in there, in your subject line. So again, I don't know if that's relevant to you guys or not. I'll just wait on you, Helen, because I was about to click there. No worries. This statistics, actually, I noticed, is now almost 2 years out of date. So, you know, it's not going down the way, the amount of viewing on video and so on. It's just going up and up and up. And I now, as far as I know, I'm only one of a dozen people in the world that has this, can personalize any video. So as soon as people come to your website or your Facebook fan page, because I could put it as a tab on your fan page, they instantly see themselves. They see their own photograph, their own name. You could put their geolocation in. You could put their first name only or full name, or you could put so any of their Facebook data we could put into a video. So predominantly, I just use their profile image and their first name. It personalizes it, right? I don't need to know. I don't need to be invasive about it, because it catches their attention. So I was going to do this live just to show you it live, but I thought, no, I'll keep it simple just in case the internet goes down or whatever. But it really does capture attention, and there's not a huge buffer or anything like that. They're effectively watching it live, streaming live, mobile device or their PC, and you know, and I know that if you see yourself or your name or whatever on a video, you're much more likely to stop longer and watch it for longer. So it's yet another Google SEO strategy is keeping people on your page for longer. And if you can personalize it with, damn, I should have shown you this. I've done a whole load of 360 views going through houses. Mostly like gorgeous places in Florida and things like that, in LA, etc. Most of these big 360 cameras have been in and so on. But we can actually run through and walk through the house, and then they could say, would the Berry family love to be here? Or how would that look from Mike's dressing room window, etc., etc. So there's all sorts, and we could put as many click buttons anywhere you want as well, as often as you want. So I usually just put a logo down the bottom, which is clickable to contact me sort of thing, and I put that on for the whole duration of the video as well. And then I can interact it with lots of other things. It's quite cool, isn't it?
How do you do that?
Well, I've invested heavily for the rights to that, right? So there's only a dozen people in the world have that system, as far as I know. So I now have it available, and I offer it as a service to businesses and so on. You wouldn't really want to do it, to be honest. It's not your mainstay business. So just don't do it. Do what you do best. You've probably seen this stacks of times. Even this is probably out of date now as well. Let me just scoot past that. So this is the latest strategy that I've been using that is working really, really well. And actually what most of my outsourcers are doing for me just now. So it's the influence of authority And what we've got here is the Virgin website. So this is Virgin's website. Virgin, if I scroll down here, which I didn't do, is a guy talking about how he became a leader within the Virgin Enterprise, blah, blah, blah. And so it's just an article, right? So by default, Virgin is the authority. The content was written by whoever, doesn't matter, so you don't need to waste your time writing content, trying to SEO the content, etc. We're basically piggybacking on the back of something that was already recognized as an authority and someone else has already written all the content, etc. And this here is a clickable image to the client's fan page or website or wherever we want it to go, right? So in this particular case, this guy's business is called The Power Within, and he's hosting an event in Glasgow, actually, right? The second part of that is that in this particular case is also what I did with George and with Eric that I mentioned before, is that people are actually sending a message to the chat bot that you had talked about earlier, Helen. You were talking about Facebook chat bots. So they're sending a message to the chat bot, and it's what I call a trigger phrase. So that you could have unlimited trigger phrases, and you can have different responses to those trigger phrases. So if people type in a word, like in Eric's case, for example, the first one he was doing was his business is called Wild Fit, and he was doing a webinar on the Monday. So the trigger phrase was Wild Monday, because it's not something that people are likely to type in into a normal sentence, but also it's not something they're likely to make a mistake on spelling, and it's not too complex for them to type, right? So we called it Wild Monday. In this case, I've just called it Freebie. Again, it's not something that people are likely to type in to the fan page, but as soon as they do, they get the response, and we could have unlimited responses. So the response could be sending them over to your website, right? You could have any kind of response. It doesn't really matter. So it could just say, thanks very much for sending the message. Here's the link to what you were after, right? More clever than that is phase 2, which is we get them to type in. So actually, let me reword that. This is actually phase 2. Phase 1. Phase 1 is on any post that I mentioned before. If you get them to interact with your posts, your Facebook fan page posts, automatically they get a response. Comes in as a private message, not on the wall. Comes as a private message, and it's personalised. So it'd say, hi George, thank you very much for commenting, blah, 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 right? Now, the blah, blah, blah part can either send them off straight to your website, or much, much more clever than that, it could be asking them to reply with the trigger phrase. So this is phase 2. So when they reply with the trigger phrase, where my chatbot is much, much more clever than the average bear, because there's a few of them out there now, is that automatically I had to write a Facebook developer app and get it approved and authorized by Facebook for this. So it's now approved. And the way I put it across is that what they've done now is effectively they've written to me, my fan page, therefore it would be rude for my fan page not to respond, right? Or your fan page not to respond. So therefore, in other words, they've opted in to get a response. And I never asked them for their email address. So what I can now do with the back-end system of my system is I can now send them messages, any messages, as often as I like via the Facebook Messenger app. Exactly. The open rate on traditional email marketing is currently less than 4%. Email marketing still works, but the open rate is really poor. We know it ourselves. We get emails every friggin' day, and we don't open most of them, right? The open rate is less than 4%. But the open rate on Facebook Messenger is almost 100%, and usually within the first hour. Because none of us like to see that number red, number 1 or whatever in red. We're all like, oh, someone sent me a message. What's that? We all do it. We're all nodding. So Facebook Messenger app is owned by Facebook. It's got 100% uptime. You never need to worry about it. It's absolutely free and always will be. And virtually everybody's got it now. And the open rate is almost 100%, usually within the first hour. So who wants to get a message in front of my fans? Makes sense, doesn't it? It's a better system than the traditional opt-ins. We'll go back to that Destin, Florida that I mentioned before. That's the other thing that I thought he's really missing a trick here, because he's doing it via traditional email marketing, and he doesn't have my system in place for communicating via Messenger. So this is just one that's working really well just now. I've just pulled out a few different screenshots because I've done it for a few different clients recently. So this one here was actually my very, very first boss when I was a financial advisor. And again, him and I just started chatting quite recently via Facebook. Most of his strategy, interesting enough, is via LinkedIn. So I'll deal with that in a second. He's a financial advisor. He still is a financial advisor. He's got like 40 years of service now. And he's just starting over in Switzerland at the end of this year. So we're starting his business now. So again, I've pulled this in from Time magazine or time.com, etc. So they're the authority. I just typed in Switzerland. If you go to Google and at the right-hand side of any Google search, there's the word tools. If you click on that, you can then choose which time frame you want, because otherwise you just open up to Google response. Google will tell you what's the best response based on the keywords you searched for. But you can actually search for within a time frame. So I searched this week. So I want this week's news. So I just typed in the word Switzerland. I went to tools this week, and I find out what's relevant this week for Switzerland, right? And I thought, what's relevant to him as a financial advisor? That'll do. It's Time magazine. That's pretty decent. I'll use that, right? He didn't write any of this. It's just a clickable button. What my outsourcers are doing is they're sharing the link up here, which is not shown on the screen. They're sharing that link on more than 100 different Facebook fan pages, groups, I should say, right? So they're looking for groups that have got more than 100,000 followers that may be relevant to his business, and they are posting this link, which instantly comes up with this article and the default image for this article, not him. So they're putting a little post that might say, for those in Switzerland or expats in Switzerland, who's been flushing their cash down the loo or whatever, you make it up, doesn't really matter, and then put that link. Facebook instantly shows you the image relevant to that link, and whoever's in the Facebook group, and you could do this in all groups, by the way, whether it's LinkedIn or Google Plus or anything like that. I'm just using Facebook as an example. But as soon as they do, the image, let's say it's this one, is what shows up, and the words that you put, and the word time, so people are going to go, oh, right, this is... So 100% of the group managers who are mediating and making sure they're not getting crap or adverts, etc., are authorizing these, because it's helping their members. So they're approving, my members might be interested in that. He's not trying to sell anything, right? So we're getting 100% approval. Here's another one I just did for the women in Edinburgh. That's her business, if you want to check it out. Well, that's I took the photo. I put the words over the top. I put her logo on. I did that for her. And then I just pulled up some news. I don't even know if it's got a date on this one. But again, it was trending. What's trending this week? So, we could actually put that in loads of different groups. This part is what's interesting to the groups. Yes, sir.
I was just going to ask, how did you get the advert to appear specifically on this?
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Exactly. It is quite unique, isn't it?
Yeah.
because there's nobody else advertising, so there is only one, and they can scroll down, but that stays where it is, right?
I've seen it before, and it's when you've been on that website before, and it tracks your cookies, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Now we're getting more clever,
Yeah.
right? You're actually 2 steps ahead.
Okay.
But no, don't apologise, because I don't know if I've even got a slide for it, actually. But you're getting much more clever now. We've probably all been, just to take what you're talking about and try and simplify it, we've probably all been on eBay or a travel site or something to that effect. Whatever we've looked for, we've then gone on to another web page or Facebook and we see the advert popping up for what we've just been looking at. We're all nodding because we've all seen it. How would you like that to happen for your business?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you do. You want other people to see your ad if they had already clicked on your website. Yeah? Guess what? You can have it. It's not just the big businesses. It's pretty cool, this, isn't it? I get really excited, can you tell? I was like, wow, what can we do now? And I'm actually taking it beyond that. Because what I've got here is I've got that part of it. It's what's called the pixel, right? And the Facebook pixel is the best known one. But we can also have this with LinkedIn and Twitter and G+, Google+, etc. as well. The LinkedIn one's more complex, but effectively it's the same thing. So basically what they're doing is they're hiding a tiny white pixel, tiny white dot that no one can even see on your screen. That's all it is. I'm trying to dumb it down. That's all it really is. But as I showed you before, any image can have any code behind it. Right? I showed you that. I've got my images on the first page of Google. Right? Google doesn't know, by the way, if I put a picture of this, on my website, Google doesn't know what it is. Google's not that clever. It'll only know what I call it. If I call it logo, guess what Google thinks it is? Yeah. If I call it the most amazing who's the Facebook expert in the UK, that's what Google thinks it is. And Google takes my word for it. So exactly, it makes sense, right? So I like to think it makes sense. It makes sense to me, at least. So it's down to us to call our images whatever the frick we want, relevant to our business. Not relevant to what it is, relevant to our business. If I put a picture of this on my website, am I going to call it Clicker? I don't care if anybody's searching for Clicker. I want them to search for me. Make sense? So any image you have, even your logo, don't call it logo. Don't call it Clicker. Call it relevant to your business. Yeah? So, that's basically what's going on here is that the tiny, tiny piece of code, the tiny pixel, which is actually a little white dot, has actually got the code behind it that Google reads the code. That's what I'm getting at. So Google reads the code or the description, not what that is a picture of, because Google doesn't know what that's a picture of. It knows what we called it. Make sense, guys? Lots of nods here. It's exciting, isn't it? I think it's exciting. So what can we do now? So what we can do now is what you were talking about there. So we mentioned cookies, but it's actually more clever than that because it's the pixels. And what Facebook, I'll come back to Facebook because it's probably the most powerful tool that we can use just now because Facebook has so many stats on our fans that we can do deeper and deeper and deeper. And we can actually, when you know what I know, we can actually get an advert to just one person in the universe if we wanted to. So if I wanted to get my ad just seen by Mark Zuckerberg, I can do that. Right? Really cool, isn't it? So if you want to get it in front of your clients, we can do that. Right? Facebook changed now so that we can't just do it for one person. We've got to do it for at least 50. But he will definitely see it as well. Right? So you used to be able to just go hone right in, but no, you've got to be a wee bit more. Yeah, probably. Well, no, everybody knows this strategies and tactics that I'm telling you about here. And it gets even more exciting than that because we now have Facebook will automatically create what's called a lookalike audience. So it's not just got the exact custom audience based on those that clicked our link. Whether they clicked this pop-up or not, by the way, they click the link to come to the the main article, which tells us that they're interested in Edinburgh and they're interested in tourists, right? So now we know who's interested. We don't care. It doesn't even matter if they click the button to come to the website. We've now built an audience that we can advertise and get back in front of. And based on that, Facebook will also allow us to build a lookalike audience as well. It might be their pals who didn't actually click and see our link. Just another one, actually. Ben's a speaker. This is his latest book, Social Magnetism. And that's him speaking, a picture of him speaking. His book's in purple, so I framed it in purple. I just went to, again, just what's this week. What article is there? There we go. It's dated September 30th. Or was that 20th? That must be 20th, because the 30th was just yesterday, wasn't it? Yep. So I didn't do this yesterday. I took a screenshot this week. So that must say 20th. It's just really poor pixelation here. But again, I just chose a random article. I just went to what's relevant this week. That'll do. It's relevant to him in some way. And I get my outsourcers to post it on all the various groups. Because that stuff is not difficult to do, but it is time consuming. And that's my leverage is mostly software. I invest heavily in software. I buy software. This year, 2017, I've bought software almost every day this year. Exactly. Raise the eyebrows. I invest in myself. I put too much time in front of a screen because I see the excitement of what we can do with it now. And then I converge it all to gel all together, so it's autonomous, if you like, as far as the client's concerned. So I can offer this service to you guys without you having to learn how to do it. I asked Helen, can I put this on my slides? Because I just thought about that when I got here. See these jeans? I bought them on Friday evening when I arrived here. Guess how much? £3! Seriously? I've been wearing them since I got here. I've no space in my bag to take them back, but I mean, honestly, the button's gone already. Seriously, the top button has gone. So I was laughing about it. Well, I've had my money's worth, haven't I? Seriously, the top button is gone. I searched everywhere for a black belt, but I couldn't find one. But apparently this is trendy not to have a black belt. You're usually like, yeah, it's cool. What do I know? But I paid £3 for these jeans. And the reason I mention that is not because I'm a tightwad, is because, well, maybe, is because it fascinates me. I'm like, okay, maybe we can go into, is it child labour or slave labour or whatever? Maybe we can go down all that route, right? But what fascinates me is it would take me the rest of my life to work out how to make my own clothing. And I choose not to, right? We all choose not to. Most of us, I won't say all. I've had that experience before when someone in the audience went, well, I make mine. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, maybe you did. Okay. It's like, but you don't make the bowls that you eat out of. And she went, yeah, do that as well. And honestly, she did. I'm like, oh, okay then. So, well, you didn't make the seat you're sitting on, right? Your face, exactly. Exactly. Like the point being, we are all using leverage all of the time. And most of us are blissfully ignorant or unaware of that fact, right? I just remembered I put my video camera up there and I never pressed record. That's hilarious. I've just remembered I've not recorded this. Anyway, doesn't matter. Just remembered. Don't. Can I start this again, guys? Where was I? Jeans. Leverage, yeah. So leverage, we're all using it all the time. And the point is, I used to offer courses. I'm not offering a course anymore. I used to offer, like every other speaker's offered a course. I used to offer courses and I'll teach you what I know in 2 days, right? I'll give you this part of it at least, right? So we can do this part in 2 days. But I don't do that anymore because what I've realized is actually if you're savvy and you run the business, all you need to do is accept and acknowledge that you are already using leverage. Right? None of us made our own clothes. We are all using leverage already, and that's all I offer, is not a course on how to do it, but if you want me to do it for you and my team to do it for you, I can do that. Make sense, guys?
Yeah.
How are we doing for time?
You're fine.
Good, thank you. Okay, that's just another one. This is an expats one that's running just now. I need to report back to him on Tuesday, especially now that half of my people are not working this weekend. Yeah, I mean, his model is pretty interesting as well because he's got expats all around the world. It really doesn't matter what your business is. We can actually make it work for you if you're interested in it. So I put this up here I couldn't even get cards printed in time to come down here, unfortunately. But if you go to facebook.com, or I like to call it fb.com because that works as well, fb.com/sock marketing, SOCMKTG, and type in the word join challenge, then my trigger response will come back to you and take you to the next stage. If you want to find me personally, that's my personal profile. My personal profile is open to the public. Always has been. Because I don't think I've got anything to hide. And I make most of my money from Facebook. It works for me. It may not work for you, but it works for me. So, simple offer, because I was asked to do an offer for you guys, obviously. I charge £350 normally for one search engine optimized video, and I thought that might be of interest to you. I can't guarantee that I could get you on the first page of Google, but I've got tens of thousands of screenshots to prove that I'm pretty damn good at this. Because I don't own Google, I can't guarantee it. But what I did say, however, if you're interested, is I have now invested in more software which allows me to make multiple images, multiple videos, I should say. It's what's called spinning, if you like. So do you know what I mean by spinning? The phrase, basically, if you've got a sentence like, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, or image 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, let's keep it simple. Images. Image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4, right? Spinning it, we'll go image 6, image 5, image 4, 3, right? It doesn't really matter. Every time you spin it, it'll have a different connotation. Make sense? So I now have software that can spin your images to create a unique video, right? And every single video can be SEO optimized, search engine optimized, with your keywords. And if I can give you 10 for £350, would that be of interest?
Yes.
Because I now can. I've invested in the software to do that for you. So I can give you 10 videos with your keywords, and not just the same keywords. We can have 10 different variations. So the chances are your customer's not just going to type in room for rent Doncaster, they might type in another connotation. We're much more likely to get you seen under that phrase as well. Does that make sense? Is that of interest?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it would be, so yeah, what I thought is I can actually now offer you 10 for that price. So for this price, if you're interested, I'll give you 20. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Phew, thank goodness for that. I still have to do the work on the SEO, by the way. That's the clever part. That's what you're paying me for, my time and my knowledge, skills, experience, etc. Right? And I don't outsource that. I do it personally. The software is my leverage for creating multiple connotations of it, but I do all the donkey work myself, personally, for your keywords. And that's why there is still a price there. I'm not offering discounts, as I told you before. So what I said there, okay, I said you could have 20 for that price. So you could have 20 videos for the 797, sorry, for the 497, you could have 20. But if you also want the personalized video, again, I can do that, the clickable video, and we can also put it as a tab on your fan page if you're interested. It's pretty cool, isn't it? And I think that's the only offer I've got for you guys. I'm not trying to sell a course or anything, and I'm not discounting either. So I don't do this very often, but I do have a few people in the past have paid me for one-on-one services. I've covered loads of different things there that I can do to help, and I'm not trying to sell you the whole whack, because actually my whole whack is a £700 a month, and it's 11 different parts. And to be honest, I don't think you're all in that group, that category. So you don't need all that. But if you want something else, come and speak to me. Is that fair? I'm not trying to push it on you, but if any part of what I said there is appealing to you, then come and see me. I can sort that out. And meanwhile, I'll speak to Helen about the other offers that I put up there if you're interested in that. Is that cool? So I'm finished now, unless you have any questions. Yes, sir.
The personalised video thing.
Yeah.
Can you just? I can ask it later if no one else is interested.
That's
But
fine.
I was just interested in what the personalised video bit had in it. I'm definitely going to get a video of you.
Thank you.
But
I love your commitment. In that case, I'm definitely going to give you more than I just promised.
Yes, awesome. Okay, cool. Because I was interested in what the difference between the personalised one and the SEO one was.
Okay, so an SEO video is hosted by YouTube. Okay, I use YouTube because it's owned by Google, and therefore Google spiders through it thousands of times a second, actually. That's why I could be so fast as well with my experience results. So I use YouTube. There are many other places that we can also use, so we can duplicate and post on many other sites as well. But they're not spidered as fast as YouTube is. So that YouTube is my fastest results. So I use YouTube predominantly. There's other things that we could do on top of the SEO video. For example, every single video has got its own unique URL. And the jargon is ping, so you can actually ping those URLs with your keywords. And then you can do multi-pings, because there are thousands of sites out there that offer pinging services. So again, I have software that does all that for us. So it does multi-pings. It tells all those systems, by the way, there's a video up. You should check this out with these keywords. It's quite cool, eh? So all of that is actually all those thousands, these quantity that I mentioned before of backlinks pointing to your video. So it's a bit like that Adobe thing before, saying, oh, by the way, check this one out. Doesn't matter what quality they are, there's quantity on that particular one. Okay? Yes, sir.
Just going back to the presentation itself, it's on PowerPoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it? So
No, it's not.
Because it's like is it a Windows Media video?
It's clever, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Nothing to do with my content. Nothing to do with my content whatsoever. How did you do that? Actually, anybody could do it, and I'm using the free version of it. It's called Prezi, Prezi.com. I like it. I like the fact that it's kind of animated as well. And it's pretty easy to use.
So what was the personalised part of the video? Yeah.
So the thank you. Personalised part is as soon as they go over to the video, which is going to be hosted on your own website or your own Facebook fan page, then instantly they'll see their own anywhere we want. It doesn't have to be within the first second, but we can put their Facebook profile photograph and their Facebook name and so on and so forth. The Facebook details can be automatically embedded in any font, any color, any position on the video as well. So it could be like, would the Gannon family love to see or see themselves at this dining table, for example?
And then they're sitting there.
Well, no, they're not sitting there. Holographic videos are not quite out yet, and time travel.
You can't show us that on your thing.
What,
To see.
I do have stacks of videos I can show you that are personalised, and the 360 walkthrough houses and so on now is actually really, really key, really nice. But you need to pay someone to do the 360 video first, and then I can personalise it. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Yes, sir.
With all the design aspects and everything like that, because of what colours work best.
Yeah, exactly. We were trying to keep it to your theme. Yeah, that makes sense. And again, your logo and all the rest of it can be on any video, any place. So I tend to use that as the clickable part. If you want more information, click here. And it's your logo. So all the way through it, and nobody's going to steal it then either. No matter how good it is, no one can steal it because it's obviously yours. Helen, you had your hand up there.
No.
Oh, you changed your mind.
Nice video.
Okay. Anybody else? Have we done?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your attention, guys. I thought it'd be a bit different. I was expecting. He told me there was 300 people coming, so I thought I've got to make an impression. George, thank you for having me. Sir.
Yeah, thank you.